Make sure you're wearing wired earphones for this video, not wireless ones for the EMF. Let's go.
There are a lot of popular diets out there, so we thought we'd create a simple video investigating which ones are scientifically sound and actually work. From the outside, it seems like a simple equation. Your weight is determined by the balance between the calories you take in and the calories you burn.
Correct. Calories determine your weight. Macros determine your body composition, and micros or micronutrients determine how healthy you actually are.
By changing what you eat or your activity
Also, I love this music. It's putting me into like a nice happy mood.
level, you can tip this equation towards weight gain or loss, which brings us to our first category of diets: calorie restriction. Companies like
See, this doesn't make sense, like logically. Whenever you're thinking about diet, you just need to think logically. You don't need to look up some study, you don't even need to listen to me, just think logically. It's like, what are we supposed to eat? If you were stranded on a desert island, sure, you'd eat like some nuts if you could find them that wouldn't kill you. You wouldn't eat any plants because they would kill you. You'd maybe eat like a certain type of fruit if you recognized it, but you probably wouldn't because most fruits will kill you. You would just find an animal, kill it, and eat it. We ate at least 80% meat, right? And we can go into studies, but I don't believe in studies anyway. Just use logic when it comes to what should we eat. Eat animal products, is my view.
Weight Watchers.
And why was I talking about calorie restriction? What animal restricts their food? Say they've killed like a lion has killed a boar or something, and it goes to eat it. Why would it look at it and think, you know what? I'm really hungry right now, but I'm not going to eat this food. I have killed this animal, and food is like directly in front of me, and I'm not going to eat it. It just doesn't make sense, right? So same for us, we shouldn't restrict our calories. I mean, sure, I eat a certain amount just to make sure that I'm bulking slightly. I don't want to like over bulk. I'm just like lean bulking. I don't want to dirty bulk or anything like that. But I do track my calories to make sure my progress is going up in like a linear fashion. But when you just eat animal foods, when you eat real foods that we are supposed to be eating, you just don't really need to track anything. I've done it before where I haven't tracked anything for ages, and my lifts went up, I lost body fat, I got stronger, I lost body fat at the same time. It is real if you eat animal foods. And I was just fully sick. I just ate until I was full. Like, that's what animals do. They just eat until they're full. They don't need to restrict their calories. If you're specifically trying to get to a like exact goal, like I want to be this exact body fat percentage, sure. If you're fat, just eat less. But you don't actually need to restrict calories if you want to be healthy. That is a completely different game.
Claim you can eat whatever you want as long as you stay below a prescribed
Wrong! It's so bad for you, man. People just do that to dirty bulk. It pains me.
number of daily calories. Getting all your calories from junk food is technically allowed, but from a health perspective, it's important to think about the nutritional value of the foods too.
Absolutely.
If you don't, you risk heart problems, nutrient deficiencies, and chronic health issues. Calorie restriction with optimal nutrition or cron diets generally reduce their caloric intake by 20% while still meeting the daily nutritional requirements. For example, instead of having a whole apple, a cron dieter might just have the apple skin, which contains
Yeah, that is just crazy.
most of the nutrients. If used properly and not excessively, calorie restriction can be a safe and effective tool for weight loss. Next up is carb restriction. Many diets like the South Beach, Atkins, or Zone diet suggest that carbs are the enemy of the fit body you've
They basically are.
always dreamed of. The ideology claims that when more carbs are taken in than burned off, the liver converts them into fats. But for most healthy, reasonably active people, carbs are broken down to glucose and
You don't, I mean, I do consume carbs, but if you want to be optimally healthy, you don't need any exogenous carbs. Carbs being there's a process called gluconeogenesis where your body produces the carbs it needs. So you should only have, I think it's about 4 grams of glucose in your bloodstream at once, and then insulin goes up or whatever just to make sure that it doesn't go above or below that and your body can manage it. Without carbs, without exogenously eating carbs, your body can do it itself. And so why are we eating like 50 grams, 100 grams, 150, 200 grams of carbs a day when our body can do it for us? It doesn't make sense. And then we run on ketones when we're in ketosis. Ketosis is where you're using your fat stores as energy. We have way more fat to use than carbs. It's like, think again logically, if we're going back in time to our ancestors, say we're running after this, like, I don't know, deer or something, who's just trying, we don't need energy gels every 5 seconds, right? We don't need to like sip in on some sort of Gatorade just to make sure, oh, I need to replenish my glycogen. Like it doesn't make sense. We run on our fat stores. That's what we're supposed to do. And any form of carbs, first of all, they spike your insulin. When insulin goes up, your hormone signaling, your hunger signaling, it just goes completely out of whack. That knocks you out of ketosis. And when you're in ketosis, you can be in things like called autophagy, which is where your cells, your mitochondria replace themselves, and that's your energy cells, essentially. So when you eat carbs, your body just goes, oh, and just gets messed up in pretty much every single way. You don't need exogenous carbs. I still consume them, but I try to minimize it as much as possible.
Transported to the cells for energy. Very little is actually turned into fat. In response to excessive glucose, the body...
That's why we would eat fruit, actually. We would eat fruit seasonally, because obviously we didn't have fruit. So if you can hear something next door, by the way, they're like doing some building. It's so loud. It's really annoying. But people would consume fruit back in the day, seasonally, when it was available, because obviously in the winter it wasn't. So in the winter, all we would do is just eat meat and fish, and that was about it. We would eat fruit to put on fat for the winter. That was the whole point of it. We would eat it to gain fat, to use that fat as energy. We're using our fat stores as energy in the winter. So that's what fruit's made for, in terms of our body anatomy.
It uses insulin to turn it into glycogen, which is stored in the liver and muscles. This glycogen may later be broken down in times of low glucose to refuel the body.
Yeah, if you don't know what glycogen is, it's basically just glucose that you haven't used that you can then use later. So it's like a store of glucose. But
the type of carbs you eat do matter. Those from simple sugars like honey, fruit, or sugar are more readily turned into triglycerides or fat than complex carbs like whole grain.
Exactly. Fruit is made for fat.
And veggies. If you can...
There's nothing in here that you need. Literally nothing in here that you need that you can't get in an animal product. But there is anti-nutrients, there is phytic acid, there's oxalates, especially in these leafy green looking things that you just don't need.
Consistently eat way more than necessary, and most calories are from simple carbs, then these will be converted to fat. Low-carb diets often have extreme restriction at first. No starches like bread or pasta, and no sugars, including from fruits or even alcohol. This can lead...
fruits and alcohol, I mean, fruits and alcohol is, I was going to say it's completely different, but it's actually not. They're both processed in the liver, they're processed the same in the body. But yeah, you shouldn't be drinking a poison, first of all. It doesn't really make any sense. It seems restrictive, but then you think to any other animal in the animal kingdom. Say, for example, a cow went from eating grains that we feed it to just eating grass. You wouldn't be like, oh my God, that's so restrictive. Oh my God, he's going to die. You'd just be like, he's just eating grass, isn't it? Same as a horse. Like, if they just ate grass, you wouldn't be like freaking out. Oh my God, it's so restrictive. Not even one like piece of fruit. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Their anatomy has evolved to be able to eat that food. Our anatomy has evolved to eat meat. That's why we've got acidic stomachs. We've got certain enzymes that break down these things, but we haven't got enzymes to break down all of the anti-nutrients and the phytic acid and all of the goitrogens and everything in these leafy greens that we don't need to eat. So
to some intense side effects, including constipation, dry mouth, bad breath, fatigue, dizziness, and nausea.
That's when you go on a ketogenic diet, so you just like cut out carbs. I'm not at that point yet, but you can do that, and it does do that for a couple of days, a week, maybe 2 weeks, but then after that you go back to normal. It's just because your body's not used to running on ketones rather than glucose.
In studies, carb restriction dieters tend to lose weight faster initially compared to those simply using calorie restriction, but this is likely due to water loss, which returns in later phases when you're encouraged to eat normally again.
Yeah, so basically your body's like, what the hell, I've got no carbs left, and then after a couple of weeks it goes back to using its fat stores and how it's supposed to be. So it's just like a transition phase.
On top of this, the Atkins diet, for example, promotes caloric intake from high fat and high protein sources, which means meats, cheeses, cream, butter, and
Right, this will be interesting to see what this guy knows about this, because I guarantee you we'll talk about saturated fat and cholesterol.
Weight sounds pretty good, right? But many doctors show concerns over the high intake of saturated fat, that it may lead to more bad cholesterol and therefore an increased risk of heart disease.
No, wrong. We have been eating this food for hundreds of thousands of years. You have HDL cholesterol and you have LDL cholesterol. When you oxidize the LDL cholesterol, that is when it is an issue. The way you oxidize it is by eating omega-6 fatty acids. You get them from things like seed oils. When you have a high concentration of linoleic acid in your skin, which you get from seed oils, that is when you get the oxidization of your cholesterol, which causes heart disease and basically like the blockage of your arteries and everything. This right here, this is not the issue. We have been eating that for hundreds of thousands of years. It doesn't make any logical sense. any logical sense.
Some claim these diets are dangerous and unhealthy, given that they promote the limitation of foods like carrots, sweet potatoes, or
Yeah, but what do you need them for?
apples that provide the body with important micronutrients and vitamins. Instead, people
like what? Like what? First of all, we've got vitamin A in carrots. It's beta carotene. Some people can't even convert beta carotene into vitamin A. You get all of your vitamin A from meat. If you eat some liver, you get about 10 times the amount of vitamin A you need for like the week. It's insane. It's got a ridiculous amount of vitamin A. Sweet potatoes, just nothing in them. It's just carbs. And then an apple, again, just the same
require
thing.
supplements, which the body is not able to absorb as effectively as vitamins.
Yeah, also, if you are on a diet, even if you are on the same diet as me, like meat, eggs, fish, fruit, dairy, that kind of thing, why the hell do you need supplements? The definition of an inadequate diet is that you need to take supplements. That's what supplements are for things that you can't get. The diet that I want you to be on, you don't need any supplements. I remember taking a supplement ages ago. It's like a vitamin thing. And originally I started on like the gummies, you know, like the strawberry flavored Asda vitamin gummy, that type of thing. It was dead nice and it had a ton of flavorings and carcinogenic chemicals. But then I went on to like a grown-up one. So it was just a tablet essentially. And oh my God, it tasted so bad. Of course it does. It's synthetic. You are not supposed to eat your vitamins in like a concentrated little pill. It doesn't make any sense. Eat it from food. If you just eat meat, I had a meal like 5 minutes ago, which just consists of like meat, and I have mincemeat, I have dates, 3 dates, and a banana, which is not ideal, but it makes it taste great and it makes me really enjoy it every single time. When I eat that, I'm getting every single vitamin I need. I don't need anything else. I literally don't need anything else. It's fantastic. So you don't need any of these vitamins. And it just
minerals and micronutrients in whole foods. Then there are high protein diets. The main principle is that protein-rich foods are not as easily broken down by the body and take more energy to digest than carb-rich food. This means you won't feel hungry again as quickly, and you're more likely to run a caloric deficit than if you ate the same number of calories from carbs.
Absolutely. When you eat meat, it's got an absolute ton of calories, so you don't actually need to worry about bulking. But at the same time, you don't need to worry about cutting because you'll be full for the whole day. It's fantastic.
Paleo
almost like we're supposed to eat.
Diet, for example, suggests that 10,000 years ago, agriculture was introduced.
12,000.
And the human diet changed from hunter-gatherers, eating primarily meat, wild fruits, veggies, and nuts.
Okay, well, we didn't eat any vegetables because we couldn't digest any of them. We wouldn't barely eat any fruit apart from seasonally, as I said. Nuts, it'd be very rare that we find them. It'd be about 80 to 90% meat.
To diets containing more grains. And as a result, some believe the human body isn't designed to digest these processed
Absolutely.
foods like grains, dairy, and breads. Some also believe that grains lead to inflammation-related health.
I mean, yeah, even people have problem with milk. Like, the reason why nobody is supposed to be able to digest milk, because at birth we're obviously supposed to be able to digest our mother's breast milk, and that is, we have something called lactase, which breaks down the lactose in the milk, and that's supposed to turn off. Once you stop being a kid, essentially, once you stop being a child, once you stop getting breastfed, your lactase enzyme is supposed to just stop and disappear. But people keep giving us, milk as we grow up, so that's why we can keep producing the lactase enzyme and break down the milk. But if you drink Jersey milk, which are like brown cows rather than black and white cows, because black and white cows don't actually exist, they are crossbred. Brown cows, you can digest that type of dairy a lot easier. It's called A2 dairy. You have A2 dairy, which is easier and more digestible because it's from a real cow, and then A1, which is from black and white cows, which are just not as good.
Problems, but this is largely untrue except in the case of people with celiac disease. But because of its straightforward guidelines, many find it easy to follow, and it does promote more nutrient absorption. However, as paleo cuts out all grains and legumes, we lose an important source of dietary fiber necessary to keep our bowels running smoothly.
It is an indigestible wood cellulose. It is essentially the same as wood. When you eat fiber, you are just eating sawdust. The reason why people think it's good for you is because it keeps you regular. The reason why it keeps you regular is because it just isn't wanted in your body. It goes completely straight through you and your body gets rid of it. It actively does not want it. So it pushes everything out and everything comes along with it. So If we are eating something that our body actively gets rid of, do you think we need it? No. And I don't believe in studies, but in controlled trials and everything, there's this one massive study that was done that was like a controlled trial, whatever. They said the people with 0 fiber in their diet had 0 problems with constipation, whereas the other side, it was a little bit different.
Not to mention, the high protein leads to nitrogen production, meaning stinky farts. Add to that constipation, which allows your digested material to sit longer in the large intestine and continuing to decompose, and yep, even...
Most people are on a ton of fiber because obviously they're just eating like grains and stuff and cereal. So the adaptation phase will take a very long time.
And smell your farts. There's another class of diets we might call the just stop eating diets.
Yeah, just what the hell.
Those looking to get slim quick might be tempted to only eat cabbage soup for 7 days.
There's 0 nutrition in that.
Or do the Master Cleanse diet, which only allows salt water in the morning and a concoction of water, maple syrup, lemon, and cayenne pepper through the day.
Okay, I've never heard that. That is weird.
And a laxative tea at night. But these diets are exceptionally unhealthy. Not only is most of your weight loss from water weight, but there are many side effects such as dizziness, fatigue, dehydration, and nausea.
Yeah, just eat like an animal, man. That's all you need to do.
The Master Cleanse can even lead to a white tongue, which some claim is the toxins leaving your body, but it's actually due to swelling and a yeast infection of the mouth.
Nice.
And after going through all that, you're likely to gain any weight lost after stopping. Then, of course, there are straight up crazy diets like eating cotton balls dipped in soup or juice so that you feel full, which of course provides hardly any nutritional content and can cause intestinal blockages, which requires surgical intervention. Or how about the sleeping beauty diet where you just sleep? You can't eat if you're always asleep. The truth is, most diets focusing on quick, dramatic results also have a yo-yo effect where you lose initial weight but slow down your metabolic rate so your body starts burning less.
Yeah, when people focus on weight, that is the issue. People focus on trying to lose weight or gain weight. When you optimize for nutrition, the place you will get all of your nutrition from is meat. And when you optimize for the lack of anti-nutrients, when you want to get all the toxins out of your body, the only things you are left with are meat and animal products. Surprise, surprise.
Calories, and then when you start eating again, there's all the weight back and often more. After following
Also, these foods just taste great, you know, like meat and eggs, they just taste great, so you just stick to it a lot easier rather than... Well, I tried keto ages ago, but I barely ate any meat, it doesn't make sense. So I was eating like spinach and stuff, and it just tasted horrible. So I'm not going to stick to it, right? When you eat real food, it tastes good. It tastes good for a reason. You wouldn't eat anything in nature that didn't taste good. Same thing here.
Since from the show The Biggest Loser for 6 years, some of which who had lost hundreds of pounds in those 7 months, scientists noticed something interesting. Not only did most of the participants in the study regain their weight, but their metabolic rates changed. One man in particular now burns 800 fewer calories a day than would be expected for a man his size. This is 6 years after leaving the show, showing how extreme measures to lose weight, while they may be successful at the time, have long-lasting impacts on your metabolism, making it harder to keep off weight in the future. The hard truth is that even using many of the principled diets, about 97% of people regain everything lost and sometimes more within 3 years.
Exactly, and that's because they're dieting. They believe they are dieting. Just eat real food. Even if you, like, I'm not at the point where I'm like full carnivore, right? But if you just eat whole foods, that's it. You can eat rice, you can eat potatoes, you can eat that kind of stuff. You can eat broccoli if you want to. Just understand that they are void of nutrients and there's nothing in them you actually need that you can't get from meat. But you could still eat them, and if it makes you stick to it, then just do it, right? I'd prefer you to eat whole foods and stick to it, including like potatoes and stuff, rather than the opposite.
If you want to lose weight, finding a diet that works for you and keeps you motivated with small incremental changes is important. Of course, a number on a scale doesn't measure how healthy a person is, though many struggle with this perception. If food and weight preoccupations are a problem for you or someone you know, check out the description of this video for links.
You know what? This was a decent video. This guy ain't bad. Shout out to ASAP Science. They made pretty good video right there. And just quickly, I decided to build this app. I know that's a bit random, but I wanted to build an app that actually teaches you proper nutrition and has all like the health things in one place, because you know I have like about 10 different apps for 10 different things. I've got one for nutrition, tracking my macros. I've got one for training and doing all my, you know, like lifts and everything. And then I've got one for, you know, like I've got weight logging ones. I've got one for meditation. Like I've got everything, right? And then you've got to go to another place to talk to people about it. You've got to go to school. Then you've got to go to, like, as in like the school communities and stuff. And then you've got to go there for courses and everything. So I built this all-in-one app. It's not finished yet. It's currently in beta. That's why I've still got these white bits down here, and not everything works exactly. But I think if I can, well, I will get this to work. It's going to be so cool. Like, it already looks really cool. I'm going to keep improving it. And when it's like this all-in-one health fitness app, oh, it's going to be so sick. It's called Elite Labs. It's the first link in the description. You can get it for free right now before I make it paid. So get all the features, try them out, and let me know how they go. I will see you over there. Good night.